The time has finally come to construct the main armament for this model of HMS Hood. I'm not going to be using any of the components that come with the Trumpeter kit for these turrets. They have some major defects. Even the detail upgrade kit for the Trumpeter kit is also wrong. That is why FlyHawk released a detail upgrade kit for its detail upgrade kit that improves upon the turrets. However, that kit also has problems, so there's going to have to be some scratch building done anyway. But before I get on to the scratch building that I'm going to have to do, let's look at the components in the detail upgrade set. First, there are 4 resin turrets. These are much better than the plastic ones or the plastic ones covered with photo etch. There are also resin rangefinders that get installed on top of these turrets. These are not quite right, but they are a lot better than what is in the plastic kit. Then there are 8 improved resin blast bags, which are naturally accompanied by 8 brass barrels. And finally, there is photo etch for the UP launcher platform on top of the B turret. In terms of what is wrong with all of these components, well, it's this tub here where the UP launcher sits. This splinter shield is of a consistent height all the way around the tub. It should be raised around the center. Other than that, there is a bridge that leads from the roof of the X turret to the shelter deck, and 2 platforms on the roof of the X turret. Those can be constructed out of styrene stock. Looking at what needs to be done, it's going to take 3 videos to construct and paint all of these turrets. In this video, I'll do the base construction for all of the turrets and install the photo etch on the B turret. Let's get started. I am going to begin by installing the barrels in their blast bags. Often installing the barrels in the blast bags can be a bit tricky, especially if you need to drill out the hole in the blast bag. Even worse if you have to recover the blast bag from plastic in the kit where you had to chop off the plastic barrel. In those cases, it can be quite difficult to get the barrel to be centered and straight. In this case, there isn't that problem at all. These blast bags are specifically designed to fit these brass barrels, which means the fit is absolutely perfect and there's no preparation required before the barrel is installed in the blast bag. So in this case, installation is simply a case of placing some thick super glue in the hole in the blast bag and then inserting the barrel into the blast bag. The reason why I am installing the barrels in the blast bags before I install the blast bag in the turret is because it'll be far easier to see if the blast bags are correctly seated with the barrel installed, because you'll have the full length of the barrel to compare to each other to make sure that they are all parallel to each other. If I were to install the blast bags in the turret first, then I run the risk that I don't get them perfectly aligned, and when it comes to installing the brass barrels, the barrels will go off in weird directions and it looks very odd. I'm just trying to avoid that. Typically, thick superglue will set quite quickly, but in a scenario like this where there's quite a big gap to fill behind the barrel, and then also that is very airtight once the barrel is sealed in around the blast bag, that glue is going to take longer than normal to dry. So I set the barrels aside and move on to another area of the turret. Next, I'm going to prepare the rangefinders that go on top of the turret. These are also resin components, but I'm not very happy with how they've been molded. The molding is quite poor and I do need to do a lot of cleanup with the file. Once I have the rangefinders in a good enough state, I then move on to attempt to install them on the turrets, and I come across another problem. Somehow the recess underneath the rangefinders is far too small to fit over this notch on the top of the turrets. There's absolutely no way it's going to fit in place without me snapping this rangefinder in half. Initially, I tried filing down the sides of this notch on the top of the turret, but there's so much that needs to be removed and it was taking too long, so I switched on to this straight blade, which works quite nicely with cutting the resin. The resin actually is very soft, so it's not difficult to cut it at all. Just a little bit of wiggling the blade back and forward will make it cut quite easily. After taking around 0.5 millimeter, maybe 1 millimeter off of each side, I was able to get the rangefinder in place. To glue down the rangefinders, I apply thick super glue to the top of the notch, and then I place the rangefinder on the notch. Since all of these components are resin, plastic cement will not bond them, so I have to use super glue. One thing to just take note of while I'm installing these rangefinders is that one is different to the other 3. The A turret rangefinders at the back have notches cut off of them, makes like a beveled edge. That is unique to the A turret. So whatever turret that rangefinder gets on is going to have to go into the A position, and that turret will then get a roundel painted on it in a couple videos time. It's just something to keep in mind. Not all the turrets are physically the same. At this point though, it's just something to keep in mind. What I need to not do in this video is put the UP launcher on top of the turret that has this notched rangefinder on it. After prepping and installing the rangefinders, the barrels should now be firmly glued to their blast bags, so they can be installed in the turret quite safely now. Once again, the fit is good. Obviously, these blast bags are intended for this specific turret, so it's just a matter of clipping off the excess resin where it was injected into the base of the blast bags, and then fitting the blast bags in the notches in the turret. Once again, the notches are filled with thick super glue, and the blast bag is then carefully seated in the notch. Here again, there is one minor thing that needs to be paid attention to. There is a left and right blast bag. They have a slightly different shape. This is just so that they conform to the curve of the turret. If you try to install the blast bag on the wrong side of the turret, it is very apparent. You will definitely notice it. While installing the guns, I do take extra time to make sure that the barrels are parallel to each other and that they also run along the midline of the turret. I also place the turrets once I've freshly installed the barrels facing each other, just to confirm that the distance apart for the barrels is equal for all of the turrets and that they are at the same elevation. If all the turrets have barrels running parallel or the same width apart and at the same elevation, then I'm happy that they've been installed correctly. Once again, this is a fairly constrained space where the glue is sealed in quite tightly and there's quite a lot of glue. So I set them aside to give them a good time to set again before handling the turrets, just in case I knock the barrels and they move. While that's going on, I can work on the photo etch for the UP launcher position. The first thing that I'm going to do is prepare the circular tub. This piece of photo etch is quite nice actually. Having these little lines on the splinter shield does make it a bit easier to curve. But even if they weren't there, it wouldn't be too difficult. You just need to find an appropriately sized cylinder to roll the metal against. One thing that I do find when creating a curve like this is that it's often easier to roll it to have a slightly tighter curve than necessary. Because for whatever reason, when you pull out the curve to meet the correct diameter, it's easier to do it than pushing it in. Pushing it in has a tendency to leave additional flat spots. Once I have the curve slightly tighter than necessary, I pull out the splinter shield to the correct diameter and then hold it in place with my fingers. While firmly gripping the splinter shield, I apply extra thin super glue to the edge using a wire. Once I'm confident that the splinter shield is at least partially tacked in place and is not going to move when I release it, I then release the splinter shield and reinforce the full length of the splinter shield with more extra thin super glue. As I said at the start of the video, the splinter shield is incorrect. It shouldn't be a uniform height across its entire length. There should be around the center these two little triangular almost pieces of splinter shield that basically doubles the height of the splinter shield. To raise the splinter shield, I've prepared a section of 3mm by 0.25mm styrene stock, and then I actually even sanded that styrene stock even thinner just to get it to roughly the same width as the photo etch. I think in the end it's probably around 0.15mm thick. Since it is very thin, it does curve very easily, and I'm able to glue it to the top of the splinter shield using thin super glue. Once I have it appropriately attached in the area that I want it, I clip it to length using my side cutters. The process is then repeated on the other side of the tub. I had placed markings on the floor of the tub to just help indicate to me where the splinter shield should go, just to help keep everything properly aligned. Here there is a bit of eyeballing, but I did leave on a lot of plastic, so I have an opportunity to trim here and there to get it to the correct dimensions. Once happy with the shape of the splinter shields, the excess glue is then sanded off using 400 grit sandpaper. Here I do have to be very careful to not damage the splinter shields. Next, I need to prepare the rectangular platform that this circular tub sits on. I am not happy with these hand railings. You can see they are incredibly delicate and they've already fallen apart. So I'm going to remove those and put them aside just to protect them while I'm preparing the base for this structure. After that, I remove the base that sits on top of the rangefinder and fold the edges up into position. Once I'm happy with their position, I bond the corners in place using small drops of thick superglue. I put the base in its position on the underside of the platform and glue it down using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. The base also has 4 support struts that need to be installed. These are very easy to install. They're quite big and they're really nice grooves etched into the underside of the platform for them to be seated in. This is very helpful. It makes this so much easier. To install them, I apply a small drop of thick superglue in the corner just to tack the supports in place. Once all the supports are correctly positioned, I then reinforce the bond using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. With the base and its supports firmly attached, I can now move on to folding the very delicate handrails. On one side, the handrails survived, so it's just a matter of folding them up into position and then gluing them down using extra thin superglue. The other side is marginally more tricky, but not really that much more tricky. Once again, I have to fold the end that is still connected up into its correct position. After that, it's just a matter of carefully gluing in place the sections of hand railing that had fallen off. Fortunately, the hand railings, other than becoming detached, weren't damaged, so everything lines up quite well and it all fits together nicely. With the hand railings in position, it now becomes very easy to determine where the circular tub should sit. The hand railings, in effect, hold it in the correct location. So it's just a matter of placing it in this gap and then ensuring that the splinter shields are correctly rotated so that they run parallel to the midline of the ship. Once I'm happy with the position of the tub, I bond it down using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. Being a very delicate structure with these handrails, I don't want it to be a loose component lying around on my workspace, so I quickly move on to gluing it to the top of the rangefinder. Here it once again fits in place fairly well. I just need to be careful to make sure that it is centered about the turret. Once I'm happy with its position, I glue it in place using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. Now for some minor details. Reaching back many videos to when I was constructing ammo boxes of all variety, there are still 2 that are left over from that process. These simply need to be installed in the indicated location on this platform. That's easy enough. All I do is apply a little bit of thick superglue to the underside of the ammunition lockers and then place them on the platform. Next, there are a few sections of ladder that needs to be installed. At the front of the B turret, between the guns, there should be this rather wide ladder. This was not provided in any of the kits for HMS Hood. This ladder that I'm using here comes from my HMS Prince of Wales kit. It's a Pontos kit, and it's better, but it's probably still a little bit too narrow. But it was the best that I could find in my scrap photo etch, so to speak. In any case, I apply a small drop of thick superglue to the base of the ladder and put it in place. Once I'm happy with the position of the ladder, I reinforce the bond using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. Other than that ladder, there should be ladders on the back of the A turret and the Y turret. This photo etch actually comes from the Trumpeter kit itself. There was a small photo etch fret that came with that kit, so I'm going to use it since it had photo etch that was specifically indicated for these turrets. Once again, I apply a small drop of thick superglue to the base of the ladder and then put it in contact with the turret. Once I'm happy with the position of the ladder, I reinforce the bond using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. That is where I'm going to end this video. In the next video, I'll move on to the construction for the X turret. They are just some platforms that I need to scratch build that go on its roof. If you would like to support this channel or see how this ship looks when it is completed, then please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Cheers.